But yeah, no, I'm working. This is $400,000 difference, bro. We're trying to figure out, like, okay, we all shocked. One, like, great opportunity and stuff like that. The reason I even say that is because how hard it is to get into the pros, whether you want to work on the player, like if you're a player, or if you're just trying to be whether front office or part of operations, part of marketing, that was the other thing. Was in hindsight knowing all of these different departments. So, bro, seeing that difference was like astounding to me, because I was, I'm thinking, low key, my mama, she thought she wasn't finna have to work no more. So, hey, and I would have been cool with her not, but that just showed me how much you really need to actually retire, like, your folks.
Yeah.
A few $100,000 don't do it. I'm sorry. Like, you are making good money, but you cannot retire your folks unless they're like literally living with you. And are like finding ways to honestly add value to your life. Like, I personally still wouldn't do it. Like, you kind of still have to pay them.
Right.
Like, so they're not retired and just like out on the beach. They're just working for a different person.
Yeah.
And, a lot of times your family too, they want to work with you because they think, okay, well, I don't have to necessarily go in at 8 or 9. I don't have to do these meetings. That's the big mistake right there. But, and I'm not even saying like badly about my family or anything. We didn't know what the hell we was going to do because this all was new.
Yeah.
And so this, just to like see how much of a difference it was that I was going to be making, but then like trying to still figure out, am I going to keep trying to play? Like, because in my mind, I'm thinking I have multiple letters of like clearing me from doctors.
Right.
And one no. And that, like I was talking about that being like the A, the adultery A. I felt like I had that branded on me where it was like, this is a no-touch person, like just a complete liability to you and your organization. And it wasn't that. And that was when I really learned the business of sport. Yeah. And it led me to, now kind of talking about it leading me to law school, was because I felt like nobody was really giving me all the answers. And that's what it was. One of the attorneys for the team had asked me, like, because when I'm working there, I couldn't like go use the like rec part or like the gym part, because they're looking at me like I'm the liability. And out of all the staff, we're talking about you could be 65 in there, but you can go run on the treadmill. I can't go run on the treadmill. So I was like, man, this is fucked up, bro, because how are they able to, in my mind, I'm like, I'm the healthiest employee y'all have that's not an athlete in this building.
Yeah.
So how am I the liability? Y'all don't run all these tests on all these other people.
Right.
To determine if they can go walk on the treadmill. They didn't want me doing nothing. Don't do nothing in here.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But knowing what I know now, I'm like, I see. It was shitty, but I see.
Yeah.
You got to know the game. That's the biggest thing. You just got to know what the game is.
Yeah.
And I didn't know until later in going through school and being able to see like, oh, this is how the business of sports really works. Mm-hmm. Now, also, I got to see a side of it, like personally with my own eyes and experience it. And then I got to work for the team. So I got to see the different areas and going out to high school games to present, like sponsorship deals and stuff like that. But it was like, and they gave me the floor. They were like, if you want to go work in scouting, go see what that's like, go there. You want to go out and work with the receivers, go work with Coach Sherman, go there. I was like, bro, I'm not going to practice. I was hot.
Yeah, no.
I was hot every day.
I ain't going to be on the field, Drake. You ain't going to put me through that. I'm not
bro, I couldn't. Like, I tried to go out to practice a few times. And I was like, bro, just watching, I was like, I can't do it. And then we had receivers like, and it's not to bash on them. It was more so I knew again what I brought.
Yeah.
and the only person who was really eating like that from the receiver group was Tavon Austin.
Right.
And like we knew what he could do, but the thing was he couldn't really get loose like that, in my opinion, in this particular offense, without there being somebody else, like, to do some stuff, like, because he was doing a lot of like reverse type stuff, and let's just try to get him the ball real quick. But anything down the field, anything on the outside, it was a wrap. Yeah. And so I couldn't watch practice. I couldn't, like, but just I had to learn it the hard, like the real hard way of like, this is how the business of sports works, and this is why I'm doing what I'm doing now, because it's just, I enjoy it. Like, I think it's, when you understand it, it's actually really dope, as much as it sucked. Yeah. To just kind of get the short end.
You saying understanding the business side?
Yeah. Understanding the business side of it actually gets me pretty excited, because it's like, I mean, granted, like it's already a super small chance that you even make it. Yeah. That you get drafted. Like all the chances, everything is against you of actually playing. And so it kind of like, knowing what I know now, it's almost like, why have we thought our whole lives like this is the only thing that we can do, and like this is the only way I can go be successful is just do this.
That's a great point, man. I think as somebody who had to learn it much earlier, in life and in my journey, but man, loved basketball. I just felt like I could always find the way to play. Yeah. And I thought I was good enough, especially from like an IQ standpoint, to make up for size, height, whatever, any coach would tell me. But I think that in terms of why so many athletes, especially like if size is not the problem, I think so many athletes are so focused on playing, because that's just, for so long, that's what we were shown. Like, for so long, all you saw was the athletes. You didn't see, or you didn't hear the stories about, particular positions in the staff that were really cool, that, it was great to still be around the game, but you're not playing. Or if you weren't trying to be a coach, maybe you weren't thinking about, like, they weren't showing the other sides and the other aspects and roles within sports. So everybody thought, oh, well, all the big money, or the way to make the big money is to actually play and go pro. And if you didn't do that, sometimes, in your community, or, even in your family, depending on the dynamic, like, that's seen as a failure. Man, if you're not able to do that. But I just think that's a great point, because there is literally so much. Like, at first for me, it was, okay, well, I can't play. I want to be a sports journalist. I want to write about it. Then that kind of developed more into, well, I could write, but I more so really just want to tell these stories. And then even past that, the development of the student athlete is so important, especially now. It's always been important, but to understand the student aspect of it, and then to understand who you are outside of an athlete, is so key. And that is where, if I'm ever granted the opportunity to be in a space like that, I think you would, I think anybody would see my love for the game, but then even more importantly, my love for people, my love for helping people just develop. But I've been in that space. I've had friends who took those routes, like you said. You had people who just, people who just quit, or just like gave up on the sport. Yeah. Whichever story you want to say, I know somebody who fits that bill. So just being able to prevent as many of those situations as possible is key. But yeah, man, there's a lot of different options, and hopefully athletes are starting to look into those options outside of playing. And it's hard telling, somebody to be realistic, I feel like, especially an athlete in that moment, because you don't want to discourage them and make it seem like they don't have a chance. But it's hard to kind of have that conversation with yourself, even of, all right, let's have a real conversation about this. Even if I do get to this level, like, am I going to be playing, the amount that I want to? Am I going to really get an opportunity to do something, or will I just be a roster fill spot? Will I be a practice guy? And if you are okay with being a practice guy in whatever league, then so be it. But I feel like a lot of people want to have the opportunity to actually compete at a high level. So it's tough. But I'm glad that you found your lane that still keeps you around the sport and whatever. And I feel like you kind of have the flexibility and the capacity to decide like when and how much.
Yeah, which knowing what I know now, like at the time, I was like, yeah, this is cool, but like, I'm like, I really want to be playing. Like, so I'm not gonna lie to y'all walking around here like, oh, I can't wait to get into scouting. No, I don't. I don't care about this meeting. Like, I don't care about this department. Not like in a bad way. At the time, I'm just like, bro, I just want to play. Yeah. And all I'm thinking about is like, okay, I'm working, but I'm really working because, like, I don't know, like, what else am I gonna do? I'm supposed to, So I'm like, yeah, I'm still gonna play though. Everything in me was like, you're gonna play again. Didn't happen, but I mean, it's. I hear that though, the reality piece, like making sure athletes see what the reality really is. To be honest, like my reality was like there was me playing here and having great success and campus is dope, like everything is kind of lit, right? And then I go home, it's not that. So there, like, you kind of have to be careful with telling people, like, well, we kind of need to make you have a reality check or something. We need to give you a reality check when you don't know what their reality is.
Facts.
Because just because you're on campus and doing this, people, like I said, they pulling you all types of ways, but you don't know, like, what's really at stake for this person. You don't know what it really looks like at home. Yeah. So that for me was always like what am I going back to? Now family is different. I always want them to be around and want to be around them and friends, and it's just, but the reality is like that ain't what I really want to go back to. So the goal is I'm like, well, this can't end because what it'll send me back to is where I don't want to be. And so I've always had this drive of like, okay, I just got to figure out the next thing without really ever kind of grieving these moments or like understanding like, man, no, this was like a traumatic experience. Like, what else are you going to do? Like, cause for me, it was my life. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? For some people, like, they got to go figure it out. And again, it's different for everybody. Like, I can't even put it into words what somebody else might have been like if their circumstances were way better at home or way worse. That was the other thing I had a chance to learn. People going through it. Yeah. Like, as much as at the time I could have been like, oh, I'm going through this. I'm doing this. Like, folks is out here struggling. Yeah. And there's still folks out here struggling. Yeah. Yeah. On these rosters today. No. Looking for rent. Why are you looking for rent money? At this point in time. And so, but it's life. It's like the realities are, and this is why athletes also need to be paid. And some are capitalizing on that, but this is why, because it's like, it's stuff like this where their realities are like, yes, you're out going to get this education, but it's like, there's so much other stuff that actually comes with you getting this education. And it's like the thing that you're supposed to be here for, whatever that might be, is actually getting pushed to the back burner. And here's all your requirements that we really need you to go do, which aren't really benefiting this thing that you're supposed to leave here with. What you are going to leave here as is a better athlete. Yeah. You don't necessarily leave as a better student. And this isn't a knock to this place. Yeah. Because I got 3 degrees from here. Well, going on a 3rd. So I don't knock it. Right. I just think it's important for athletes to understand it. Yeah. You got to understand what you're signing up for. Your parents and guardians and family needs to understand what you are signing up for. Because not everybody's going to get it. Not everybody's going to make it. That's the other thing. Yeah. It ain't for everybody. So talk about it. Yeah, it ain't for everybody. So it's like you can have all the talent in the world, but you hate going through all of these like steps and procedures when all you really want to do is play the game. Yeah. And some people, all they really want to do is take care of home. Yeah. So if they could do that while in college, they might actually be more inclined to go learn the degree program that they really want to learn because they don't want to go pro. Right. Like pro is like, if I'm talented enough, cool. But if not, like I did this program, like I did this major, whatever. I want to do these things in life. And I got paid while I was here. So I kind of had to, like, I was able to help, mom, dad, whatever, with rent or lights or utility, whatever it is. When you can take care of basic needs and essentials, most people, like, the goal of playing in the pros, it's not the pressure is kind of alleviated because you're like, oh, well, I can also take care of my family here and make a little change.
Right.
But also I feel good about going to class because you're not in class with people who pulling up with Mercedes and Beamers, spending all types of, they going to study abroad, and you know what I'm saying? Because that's who you walking in class with on these campuses. And so it's like there's a lot. It's a lot that you're dealing with, and you realizing like how like I'm playing this game is what got me to this level here. And you gotta, of course, there's requirements to get into school. Like you still gotta reach admission requirements, but it's still like there's folks who've been planning for this, like GREs later, but ACT, SAT.
Yeah.
I didn't even know people study for those things.
Man, listen, cause I didn't.
I sure didn't.
I didn't.
I had no clue.
But no, it's people that like.
No clue.
From
tutors, everything.
Tutors, like twice a week.
What you should, if y'all are listening to this, get you a tutor. Pay for that exam help. Yes. Pay for the exam, like study notes. Because it's insane. Yeah. Like what you might be missing out on.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had no clue. These exams, I really thought folks was like, you supposed to just go off the dome. Like if you don't know it, you don't know it.
It's a whole it's all.
Bruh, had me feeling like an idiot. I was like, I'm like, how do people know? I was like, how do people know all of this random stuff? And it was like, because it was just like, I'm like, where do you even get to learn stuff that's on the SAT? That like, when are you having that conversation?
Man, for some people, it really is I mean, it depends on family dynamic. It depends on resources you have. But there are some people that are literally trying to prepare you for college as soon as you finish. You know, like your middle school. Like some families, some schools, like those resources are there. Yeah. And there's some people where it's like, oh, we got to take the ACT this year? Yeah. Dang, okay. What day is it? All right, cool. Tomorrow? I guess I'll be there. Tomorrow? Yeah. All right.
Oh, I have to be there.
Yeah, I have to be there. It's a requirement. All right. I wing it. It's cool. No big deal, bro. I think somebody in my high school scored because my score wasn't that high on my ACT, and I don't think I took the SAT. Yeah, but it was somebody in school that got like anybody that got above a 30. I was like, what are y'all doing, bro? Like, but it would be, mind you, why was it always the stoners that was getting 30? Like, bro, what is going on?
Bro, it's a game.
What's going on?
It's a game. Man. It's a game. You are not dumb. You just need to know the game that's being played.
That's facts.
And play the game. And I just didn't know that was a thing. Yeah. That was just crazy to me. Like, and it's crazy now because being in law school, you kind of see the same thing where it's like there were certain things that people did prior to coming to law school to make sure that they were the best candidate for law school. Yeah. I don't knock it. I think it's a great hustle. Like, I think it's a great hustle. Because you get in here, it's like you come in just like with padded stats, like
basically.
But it's dope. It's dope. Yeah, like, because if you, again, you got to play the game.
Right.
And so, but just seeing it and seeing how it works, like, it makes, honestly, to me, it makes the business of sport like that much more special, that much more like kind of dynamic. And the other, what really shocks me, bro, is like the people who own these teams. This is like they play money,
bro. Literally, not even.
But they not playing about it. Like, this is they play money, but they not playing about it. That's dope. But when I learned that's when I learned how small I was in the grand scheme of professional sport. In particular, the NFL.
Yeah.
Like the athlete, yes, they are a key piece because you can't play a game without the athlete. But there's so much more going on around this athlete. Like, that's why it's like, yeah, we can, okay, here's, almost 50-50. Yeah, it's almost as far as like what the NFL players will make compared to what the team takes.
Okay.
And so it's kind of like, and it's not that way in college.
Right.
In college, clearly they can't pay the athletes at all, but you got to look at the way the revenues are broken down in college sports, especially like a Mizzou. And I'm not knocking Mizzou. They're a part of the system, and I go to school here.
Yeah.
And I try to support them in every kind of way possible. But I got to speak like it is
real
what
is the
it
real,
is.
yeah.
It is what it is. And so, but if you look at where the revenues are going, none of that is like, I don't want to say none, but it is like very, very, very small percentage that is actually going to the athlete.
Right.
And majority is going to like coaches and administrative staff and executives. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, that's
like,
wild.
but that's the system. That's how it's been set up. That's why this whole monster, whatever, the NCAA come tumbling down. Like, that's why it's all happening now.
Yeah.
And that to me, I just want to be able to tell people about like, hey, yes, this is important. Yes, this is your livelihood. You want to make sure, you're able to take care of your folks. But you can't take care of them when you don't know where you're going. And you only know where you're going when you have a map. Like, you got a understanding of, okay, what is going on? Think of if you were to ever develop a home, like build a home ground up.
Yeah.
You got to go find the land. Why am I picking this land?
Right.
Let's not even say a home. You building like like restaurants. Like, it's going to be an area where folks are going to come. You want this to be like a commercial unit type stuff where there might be living on the top, but stores on the bottom. If you're going to build this, you're going to check in like, okay, what's the foot traffic?
Right.
Where's the traffic going?
Right.
Is the soil the type of soil I build on? And you hire people for all of these things.
Right.
Like, so what are my contracts for these people? So I make sure I'm protecting my investment. How long is it actually going to take? How do I make my money back? Not just this 1 year, but literally for eternity until you want to sell it, or where the numbers make sense for you. Like, you mapping out all of this. You got plans that are on these tables, like 2D plans, 3D plans, like floor plans, all this stuff. Designers, you got designers. So you got all these people that come into play for a commercial unit being built up for a reason. So it's the same thing when it comes to being an athlete, entertainer, whatever it is. What is the game that's actually being played? And so if you don't know that and you say, oh, I see that spot over there is for sale. I got a bunch of money in my pocket. I'm finna go buy it because, I'm a real estate investor. Bro, you ain't looked at nothing that actually matters.
Spot.
It's a terrible spot. And it's way overpriced.
Right.
So it's like that. You got to know, what are you doing? Like, why am I here? Like, what am I looking to get out of this experience? Not like I just have to be here. These so many people, they're in their position because they're there to serve you. Yeah. Like, not in a way that's like on a platter.
Right.
You got to do the work, but you got to communicate with the academic person. You got to communicate with your coach, like stuff that's not going right. You got to understand, how do I communicate this? Yeah. That's, appropriate, that's professional, that's going to get the job done. Yeah. And all of this is around you for you to be the most successful. But if you go through and it's like, man, I got to go do this over here. I got to go. You're not ready to be a professional yet. You're not ready to be a baller yet. Because if you can't manage this, but you want millions of dollars.
Oh, my
You definitely can't manage millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands because you don't know how to lead. You don't know how to lead yourself. You don't know how to get up without somebody telling you to get up. You don't know how to turn in these documents that you like. When you get outside of here and you start trying to build stuff up and you miss something, they coming for your pockets.
Oh, all the time.
Coming for your pockets. Like, don't worry about it. We was under contract. You didn't want to do it. Don't even worry about it. Like, so now I just want to teach folks like that and let them know, like, you know, how to take advantage of you, whether your kid's going through high school sports, like how do you prepare them to be like far along, like, or even a grade ahead when they get to college.
Right.
Who's on scholarship. So it's like they're already on scholarship. Maybe they're getting some NIL change.
Right.
How can you maximize this? Because the point is to maximize wherever you go. Because these teams, when they want to get you, they're trying to maximize the amount that they can, like, not pay you.
Right.
Like, how do we do that? Yeah. How do we reach our bottom line? So you're doing the exact same thing, and there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like we're always taught, like, you know, well, you got to just kind of accept what's given to you and just be appreciative. No. Don't just accept what's given to you.
Facts.
Like, you know, ain't nothing wrong being humble and stuff like that. I'm not talking that though, but I'm just saying, like, you need to understand, like, where your value really is, and it's not just being like, no, I'm worth more than 20 grand. Why? Can you actually explain what you do to be worth? Because if this hat that you got on, they try to sell it to you for $200. You're going to say, why would I buy this hat for $200?
I didn't even say that. I'm walking away.
Yeah. But there might be a hat out there that you're like, man.
For 200, I might.
For 200, I got to have it.
Got to have it, yeah.
And why?
You're right. Got to be a reason.
Yeah, it's got to be a reason. And so if you can't explain, and if that business can't explain why this hat is $200, people are not buying it.
Facts.
And so I just reminds me of like Yeezys and stuff like that. Like
anything Apple at this point, just
right. But it's like, so I mean, it is what it is. I'm just kind of like, I just want players to understand, like, and entertainers, folks that just look like me. Like, if this is the business that you want to be in and the space that you want to be in, just got to understand how to navigate it. And I just want to show you how to navigate it. And just through my lens, because my route isn't the only route.
Right.
That's also the other thing. Like, I understand that my route is not the only route.
So last two questions. Mm-hmm. First one, throughout, like, everything we discussed, throughout all the trials and tribulations, what is the biggest thing that you feel like you've learned, or your biggest lesson that has resonated with you?
I would say that I'm not in control. We try to control so much. I'm a believer, man. I believe in God. Like, it's just, he really got his hand over all of this. Like, facts. So you can try to put all these things in place and try to set it up and have the perfect business plan, business model for your life. And you just got to be able to really adapt. And, but I just want to say that first, because that's, I really, bro, like, my faith is what even picked me up when I was, like, in that room listening to those, that, you know, disqualifier. At that moment, I knew then I was, like, going to be all right. I wanted to be mad, but it was like I just had the whisper of, like, you know, you good. Like, you good. Yeah. I was pissed, though, because I wanted to be, like, I wanted to be more mad. I wanted to, like, throw everything away, but I could never get that out of my mind. After that was, like, how did that, in that little moment, something that I could only hear was just like, no, you going to be all right. I got you. Yeah. No. So I can't do nothing with that besides, like, and even later, like, down the line, trying to work, trying to do other stuff, trying to be involved in different things. And, no, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to make this happen. It's like, when those things come tumbling down, it's like, dang, man. All I can really think about is the only person who's really been through all of this with me, really from the jump, was God. So I can't, like, all I can do is just be just thankful and grateful that I have my faith, because without it, bro, without it, I don't know if I don't know if that's cliche to say by any means, but I don't know if I would be alive, because, bro, it was a time I was literally sitting in the dark for days. Like, I didn't leave the house. I didn't, nothing. In the dark, blinds closed, curtains closed, TV on low. Like, I'm not even listening to the, I'm just sitting there. And so I don't know, like, you know, I could tell you I had a suicidal thought, but that thing went, it came and went.
That's real.
So I shout out to the people who, like, are really feeling that, like, seek help, go to where you need to go. But I ain't gonna lie, I thought about it and I was like, it's like that thought came in, and on the other side it was like, boy, you're not finna go. It is not that bad.
So, but it be them moments, it be them quick moments of like, you had that moment of doubt, or you had that moment of, I don't like using the word weakness in relation to that. Yeah. But you know, you had that moment where you unsure. But then, you know, luckily if if your relationship with God, you know, is right, and if you have those right people around you, that thought does come in where it's like, all right, let's just reel it back in a little bit.
I had to, because like I said, I wanted to feel way worse.
Right. Yeah.
I really did. Yeah. And I did feel bad. Yeah. But I wanted to feel way, way, way worse. And it just didn't happen that way. And but don't get me wrong, like there was plenty of days, but as far as that goes, like to that extreme, like I just remember the moment and I was like, Bud, I had to kind of laugh at my own self. Like it ain't that deep. But that would probably be the biggest takeaway, to be honest. Like there's plenty of them, but the biggest was that.
Yeah. No, that's very real, man. And one thing that I want to add, I hope the audience has picked up on it, but almost every guest, whether it be that question, because that's the main question that I ask, or it be this next question, which is always my final question, God is always somewhere in the answer. And I just think that that's really powerful. One, that all the people that I've reached out to talk to, that is a staple. Yeah. And then two, it just goes to show that no matter what industry you're in, no matter where, like what your path is, no matter how your journey is going, for a lot of people, like that is the center. Like that's what keeps them centered. That's the guide. And it's just really good to know that. It's just really good to know that that's the energy that's being presented by, you know, people I've been able to talk to. But my final question, the question that I have to ask everybody that I get the opportunity to sit down with, we have talked about your journey as an athlete. We talked about your journey as a man. We talked about your journey through sport in general. Through everything that you've talked about, everything that you've referenced, everything that you've mentioned, what would you say makes you qualified?
I talk about what I went through, like in my experience. I don't like to teach people something I've literally never done. And something that's been good for me was I've learned from the absolute best, like especially when it comes to sports. And I can reflect on like, well, my high school coach is a Hall of Fame high school coach, like in Texas. So that's a big deal. Right. And then my college coach, first of all, high school coach, Joey Florence. Shout out to you, Coach Flo, as he called it. It was white lightning. Like, you know, they used to put me in the game. I heated up. That's why they call me microwave. Just a little corny. But I loved it, man. Right, but it was just like, you know, he was also the person that taught us, like, you know, I think it's be humble in victory and be gracious in defeat. Because you lost the game, but you got to be grateful for the fact that you got to play the game. Yeah. You know, you got to be grateful for the fact that you're out here with these guys one more time, because it could be very different. Yeah. You could be doing something else that's not this. Yeah. So even if you win, just be humble in victory. Like you should, you know that you're out here to win.
Yeah.
But if you don't, being gracious in like the opportunities that you have. But then my college coach, Coach Pinkle, Gary Pinkle, also Hall of Fame coach. So it's like taking the principles that they put in place for their teams and how they lead their teams, almost like GM style. Yeah. But they've also been through it. They've been through the years where their teams were trash. They've been through the years where stuff wasn't like just set up nicely for them. And they weren't always considered this great coach. Yeah. They didn't have all the lights shining on them. So I just take that approach of like, I'm just going to give what I have. I don't need to act as if I have something else. I don't need to act as if I've done more than what I've done. Like, all I can give you is what I got. Right. So I've just come to terms that, I can't give you what some billionaire person may be able to give you money-wise, but also to some knowledge. Because don't get me wrong, like if they're building this amazing app and this is what they do, that's where they made all this bread from, whatever, they can probably give you a better insight into building apps than I can. Yeah. Even though I could go try to Google something and then try to tell you what I just Googled. That makes zero sense. Right. Like, go to that person, go learn it from him. I've just been comfortable enough now to where I'm comfortable with what I have. I'm comfortable in knowing, like, I don't know everything. I'm not the best at everything that's going on in this world. I'm the best at being me. I'm the best at sharing what my experience is and helping somebody grow in that area. Like, I can't be beat at being me. So to me, it's like, I'm just cool with knowing that that's what my competition is in a sense. And I never knew that at first, was like, oh, I'm just competing with myself. I'm like, I'm not competing with myself. I'm literally here to compete against y'all. Right. Like, that was how I really viewed everything. Because I'm like, if I got to compete with myself, for what? That's what never made sense to me. I was like, for what? But now, just being a little bit wiser, it's more of like, what makes me qualified, man, is those things. I understand mentorship is key. I understand providing mentorship is also key because it keeps you on your toes. Yeah. But just letting people know where I'm at and just being available as much as I can, but also providing value. Like, I know I provide value wherever I go. If I'm in there, I provide value to the space. I just know that.
Yeah. Oh, that's real. And that's extremely valid. And that's so key. I think the more people unlock that, the more people that can get to a space of realizing, I mean, you hear people say, like, you take up space, right? Or you should feel like you take up space. But I think a step further to that is providing value, because you can take up space and not be providing value.
You in people way.
You in people way. So that providing value is so key, because yes, show up. Yes, be prideful in taking up that space, but also be bringing something to the table to do that. That's amazing, man. Yeah, that's amazing, man.
I appreciate it.
Amazing interview. I already knew it was gonna go this way. The pre-recording vibe was there. So I already knew it was gonna be great. But man, thank you again for taking the time.
Right on.
Is there anything else that you want to plug or let the people know about before we sign off?
Man, yeah, I want y'all to actually just follow me, because I'm starting to put out content about sports business and how athletes can just like have different channels to look at how just fans of the sports can just look at the game differently, and just kind of see the different areas that sports really touches. Yeah. Because it's not just what's going on the court or on the field. There's just so much more, and I'm just trying to bring light and attention to that. So come follow my page, and just we got some things brewing, and I hope to bring y'all some just dope content that's just, hey, this is good stuff. Like, we should follow and listen and learn something and go apply it. I want you to apply. I hope to put it out there to where, it's not just going in one ear and one out the other. It's, oh, if I actually showed this to my son or to my niece or nephew and they implement it, it actually works.
Right.
So I want people just to kind of like learn that. That's really it.
Okay. Y'all heard the man. He got the content. He got the tips. He got the gems for y'all. All y'all got to do is follow the page and pay attention.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? But so happy that we was able to get this interview done. But until next week, and until the next time y'all see me on y'all screens, I will see y'all soon and catch y'all next week.